were taught that we should hold on to certain things so that we will be safe. It's time to let go. It's time to learn to fly so that we will have a much more peaceful and safer experience. We humans are satisfied with the answers we are given way too soon. For example, if we are asking science what this reality is, the science will tell us, well, it all began with Big Bang. And even the science will tell you that this is just a theory, but we take it as a fact. But the fact is that the science doesn't know what all this is, because the science doesn't know where, when, and how the primordial dot was created. The science tells us that before that dot there was no time and there was no space. Okay, but still that does not explain how the dot was created, and that does not explain where this universe is expanding. The science doesn't have a clue about our existence. Then there comes religion. Those religions that have a deity or God separated from us, those religions are telling us that God created everything. But who created God? God has the same problem as the primordial dot. Nobody is explaining us how God was created, why God was created, and where God was created. So even the religions don't have a clue about the real nature of this existence. And then there are those that will tell you that you are God. There are those that will tell you that you are God in its entirety, and there are those who will tell you that you are just a part of God, but still that you are part of that one thing, the oneness, call it as you will. But they have the same problem. They don't have the answer that would explain how that God, how that one thing was created, and where and why. So the reality is that no one knows. And I dare to say, no one in the absolute sense knows what's really going on. I know societies that understand these concepts in full, and they cannot imagine who would know, because maybe somebody does know, but that's so far away from where we are that we cannot even imagine that. And this is the underlying reason why most people will look away from finding who they really are. Because we were taught that we have to hold on to certain things in order to feel comfortable, to feel safe. But is it really safe? Is it really comfortable if we hold on to those things? Let me try to explain you this concept with a visual representation, an analogy. Let's say that you are on a flat floor. It could be a floor of a building, but it's so big that as far as your eyes can see, there is only this flat floor. There is nothing else, just flat floor and the sky above you. And let's say that this floor is our understanding of our reality, the earth, the material part of this existence. So when you are presented with information I'm giving you today or similar information, the floor starts to shake. But you don't even have to be presented with a particular information. In your everyday life, the floor often shakes. For example, in 2020, the floor was shaking quite heavily for most of the people. So if you are lying on that floor, you can in a way pretend that nothing's going on. But if you are standing or trying to stand, then you must feel the floor shaking. And that's not a pleasant feeling. You want to hold on to something. And then you look around you and you see that there are columns suddenly there. There are different columns. One column is science, another is this religion, another is that religion, another is philosophy, another is drugs. There are different columns, and you want to grab a column to feel safe. And you usually grab the one that is near you, or at least the one that it is near enough and that you like. But does that stop the ground from shaking? Of course not. The ground is still shaking and the column is shaking too. The column is attached to the ground. So you feel a little bit safer, but still you are dizzy because the shaking never stops. So what to do now? Well, to explain this, I'd like to give you another analogy. I guess most of you saw the movie Contact with Jodie Foster. For those of you that you did not see the movie, I would strongly suggest that you first see the movie because it's a great movie. It gives us a lot of great insights into our society and, in a certain way, human nature. So please watch the movie. I don't want to spoil your movie. For the rest of you, do you remember how the aliens gave us the blueprint for a spaceship so that we could construct a ship and go to their planet? And we did. But our scientists and our engineers constructed a chair. In that ship that there was no chair, nothing to hold on to. But they fixed a chair onto the ship and they said to Judy, you must use this chair because we insist on minimum safety. So she sat on that chair, she buckled up, and the journey began. And the further she went, the more was that chair shaking. And she was shaking, and it was almost unbearable. But then she saw a pendulum floating freely in the ship, and the pendulum was calm, and she got out of the chair, and suddenly she was fine. She was not shaking anymore. She was safe. And eventually the chair broke, and she would be hurt if she would be still in that chair at that moment. But she was not. She was freely flying inside that ship. And I would suggest that this is exactly what we have to do. If we come back to the analogy of the flat floor and the columns, we must let go. We must get away from the columns, and we must get away from the floor. That means that we must learn to fly. And when we will fly, or levitate if you will, then we will not be affected by the floor shaking, by the columns shaking. We will be safe, we will be calm, and we will not need to walk our path with small steps. We will be able to fly, and we can do that. Every one of us can do that. How? Well, this video is too short for that. I will not explain you how today, but if you are presented with the choice to fly, take it, because you are capable of doing that. Everyone is. So my friend, are you ready to let go? Are you ready to fly? I wish you to be safe. I wish you to be calm. But the decision to let go, the decision to take off the floor, that decision is something you have to make.